Australian pension manager IFM Investors is committing more of its pension capital to investing in the Canadian market, specifically infrastructure and other real assets. Now let's get more on this from Ken Luce, Executive Director at IFM Investors Canada. Ken, thank you very much for joining us.
Roger, thanks so much for having me on today.
What's the reasons behind deciding to expand the money here?
Well, actually, we've been working with Canadian institutional clients really since 2012, helping them get exposure to infrastructure assets. That business has grown, so really establishing a physical office here in Toronto was the next logical step in that growth strategy and supporting our Canadian institutional relationships here.
And what with the expansion, where are you going to be looking? What do you have now, and where will you be looking?
Yeah, so it's interesting. We have two existing assets in Canada. We invest on behalf of our clients in Enwave's Canadian District Energy business. They're world famous for their deep lake water cooling system. It's really a geothermal system that's used to heat and cool about 60 million square feet of downtown Toronto commercial space, including the building that I'm sitting in right now. And I think with 2/3 of the world's energy consumed by cities, and half of that energy used for heating and cooling, it'll play a critical role for Toronto and communities across Canada. We also invest in a seaport out in Vancouver, so really have that cross-Canada presence already.
And with your next moves, you're recognized in responsible investment directories as a manager with explicit ESG integration. I'm just reading this active stewardship. Are you going to continue to use those as your focus on decisions?
Oh, I think certainly as a long-term pension-owned investor, we really think in not just quarters and years ahead, but we think decades ahead. So really throughout our infrastructure portfolio, whether it's Canadian assets or global assets, we are targeting net zero by the year 2050. We have interim 2030 goals. So really thinking about sustainable investment is really a key risk factor for us, but something that is embedded within our investment process.
And so it's long term. You're here. What makes Canada so appealing for a long term investor from your point of view?
Oh, I think that it's really appealing. And if you think about our pension owners, so we're owned by 15 Australian pension funds as well as one UK-based pension fund. Australia, the pension market is expected to be the second largest pension market in the world by the year 2035. So we really have the backing of the Australian pension market, and those owners alongside our global clients across the world really see a lot of attraction towards investing in Canada. It's a highly aligned, really mature market, but at the same time presents a lot of opportunities across some of our core infrastructure areas, including transportation assets, utilities, as well as energy assets. So certainly see a lot of opportunities to invest here locally.
Now, some have viewed you as being a little conservative and occasionally expensive on valuation. Are you going to try and mix a little more and change it up a little bit, or is this the track that you're on and you're happy to stay on it?
Oh, I think this is a track that we've been on for a number of years now. We'll continue to stay on this track and certainly see opportunities really across different subsectors. We see some really exciting opportunities right now in energy markets, such as renewable natural gas, where valuations are, in our mind, quite attractive, given really significant supply-demand imbalances. It's a new emerging infrastructure subsector here in Canada, but something that we have a lot of experience with, given we've been investing in infrastructure for the better part of 30 years now.
And is that tying in with AI, and where are your thoughts on AI?
I think the tie into AI is really around the infrastructure sector, specifically data centers. There, we have multiple years of experience really building out data centers, primarily in the United States as well as Europe. But at the same time, really thinking about putting those protections in place for investors. I think with the AI revolution, we really need to focus on strong counterparties and long-term contracts to mitigate some of those downside protection challenges.
And just one last question was with Canadian investors, where do they fit in this for you?
They fit in very squarely as part of our strategy. So we work with over 200 Canadian institutional clients, and they've been really advanced in terms of their approach towards infrastructure. Many of the mid and small sized institutions in Canada followed their larger peers into the infrastructure asset class, years and years ahead of many other regions like the United States, by and large. And I think as a result, it's become a very sophisticated and very significant portion of the infrastructure market globally. So they'll play a key part in our strategy, and we'll look to continue to partner closely with those Canadian institutions.
Okay, Ken, thank you very much for joining us today.
Super. Thanks for having me on.
Ken Luce is Executive Director at IFM Investors Canada.